Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to episode 93 of the Pop Culture Gamers podcast. My name's Haydn, and I'm here as always with Steve. Steve, how are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Been a busy week with work, and busy week playing one game only that isn't Destiny, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. I thought before we start, we'll just give an update on Alan, just to let everyone know that I've been told he's back from hospital, and it's just a matter of now, him in recovery. The word on the street is that his eyesight is very much deteriorated. So we're all thinking of you, Alan, if you're listening, and we hope you get better soon, mate, because we want you back on the show if you can still be bothered. Yeah. So all the best, mate. Right, so Steve, do you want to say what you've been doing this week?
Yeah, it's not a lot really to talk about. Been busy with work and my new role for that, but we don't want to bore you the pants off of that, so that's been busy. Hence, I haven't done a great deal other than up until what was the date? The 21st when the golf game came out?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so since I hadn't played any games until then. Anyhow, so on the recommendation from Film 89, their podcast, I purchased a DVD, because it's not on Blu-ray, of The Twilight Samurai, which is supposed to be a really good movie. And again, Japanese through and through, even with subtitles, so that'd be fine for me. I'll get to watch that at some point. I pre-ordered Skyfall, and it does say on it that it is a coloured vinyl. It is a proper coloured vinyl edition of what it is, but we'll talk about that in a minute, I'm sure. Other than that, the other thing I want to talk about is when we talk about movies I've watched, I just want to do a brief rundown for the DC fandom, which what I watched Saturday night.
Yeah.
Which was awesome, by the way, and DC is back on top again with what's coming out there. So, that's about it, really. Very brief and short, or short and brief.
Okay.
So about yourself, because you've been busy.
Yeah, so I'm now off for a fortnight. Woohoo!
Oh, yeah, well done.
Yeah, so because I haven't had any time off over the summer holidays, so I've been, sort of like saving, because the first is the sort of like 3-year anniversary of my dad passing. So
long now.
Yeah, so I've decided to just take the last couple of weeks off that Adam's on holiday before he goes back to school, because obviously schools will be returning very shortly. And basically, I'm planning on doing a lot of work to my house, which I'm going to rent out over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully get some gaming in. Although I'm not sure what I'll be playing that much, because looking at most of it, I've either played it and didn't like it or played it and completed it. So it's going to be interesting to see what I'm going to actually be playing. I have been getting and listening to some great vinyls recently. I purchased, as you mentioned last week, Casino Royale.
Yes,
which,
isn't it great?
Oh yeah, I love the blue colour of the vinyl as well. It looks fantastic, and that my copy arrived, and I was really impressed with the score. I would say the main criticism that I have is it didn't have the song "I Know Your Name" on there, which I know is by a different artist, but it is the soundtrack to Casino Royale.
Which isn't a part of the score, though. That's the probably the debate how you want to put it. I know back in the day, if you go back to the early Bond soundtracks, would always have the title track on there.
Yeah.
But I think at some point, probably roughly around when I think when Pierce Brosnan came in, then they started to disappear, I think, after that.
Yeah, I think that's
and
wrong.
I think
it's going
to be down to rights, I should imagine, as well.
Because it's different artists doing it.
Yes, that's it. And
yeah,
they would get their own billing on there, I'm sure, but obviously they're not too keen on it. But there's probably about the last 4 albums or 4 movies that have been like that, and probably it's going to be it's just the last Bond's set of films, isn't it? Really, that have the issue.
Yeah, because I also ordered Skyfall soundtrack as well, which doesn't come with Adele's lovely Bond theme either.
No.
And I have to admit, I was really hacked off with Amazon about it because they're showing it on the website as a gunmetal sort of golden disc.
Right.
And it's a normal black vinyl disc.
Are you sure it is normal black vinyl?
Well, it's extra thick, it's 180.
Grams, yeah. So what I'm saying is because, let me go to, hold on. If I just go to where I'm picking it up from. So the description of it, if I can find it. So on the sticker for at the movies, which you do have, okay, does it say, so limited edition, 1,500 individually numbered copies on transparent black mixed vinyl?
It's not transparent black, it's just black vinyl.
So if you put it up to the sky, can you see through it?
I haven't tried that, if I'm to be honest. Because
I have some that are like that, which you can still tell they're transparent to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But if it's, I'm sure you can tell the difference between transparent vinyl and black vinyl, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you have a look at the version that's actually on Amazon, if you just put in Skyfall, that very clearly shows you it's like a golden sort of gunmetal-y colour, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is pitch black.
Which is probably what my what was the third movie? I can't think now of Batman last trilogy. Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises, yeah.
Yeah. And that one's a gunmetal sort of grey colour.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, you'd have to show me, or we could talk what your on where it's got the sticker for at the movies.
It's music on vinyl.
Yeah, it is, but it's still going to say.
It's also not individually numbered either, but it's packaged exactly the same as the Casino Royale in its own little, plastic sleeve as well.
So it's
got a poster in it, and it's also got a 4-page booklet.
So if you turn it around, if you turn the back on it...
Yeah, no, there's no number on there that I can see.
Because the one I'm getting, let's have a look. I don't think, unless it's in a certain different position... Yeah, mine's got a number, but the number for it is bottom left-hand corner.
I'll have to have a look later on, but I'm sure mine doesn't have a number.
I'm just looking at the picture of the one I've ordered on eBay. Yeah, so my one's actually 001149. There you go. Because they are music on vinyl at the movies, that's what they call them.
Yeah.
So when you look at the sticker on the front cover, it says at the movies, Skyfall soundtrack, and at the bottom it says music on vinyl. And there's a code for this one, so that should match, which is MOVAT M177, which is the barcode for it.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see if it copies that. I'll do a screenshot actually and send it across to you later.
Yeah.
Then you can match it with yours and see what it says.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
But how's that sound, by the way? Because I haven't.
It's a really nice score. A really nice score. Yeah. Really enjoyed listening to that. And Casino Royale is another good one as well.
It is, and I think even when I had to say we talked last week about that discussion with the composer. I think it works well how they blend in, because obviously you use the title music in the score as well.
Yeah.
So you get a bit of a feel of that, even though you haven't got Cornell's main theme. But really good, yeah.
Yeah. And I also, it finally arrived, the Mondo release of the Batman soundtrack that I got from eBay. And that's brilliant. And it's got none of that Prince rubbish on it either.
I've got the Prince album. That's brilliant. Don't worry, don't knock it, honestly.
No, Prince was a low quality Michael Jackson.
No, I don't agree there, because the Prince album...
No, I don't actually. Michael Jackson was much more better than Prince was ever.
Okay, if you say so, I'll let you play that one out. But so is your black vinyl, or is it coloured?
It's black.
Okay.
Black, yeah. So, and it's a single disc.
Yeah.
One as well. But it's a nice album. I enjoyed listening to that. So I've still got another couple of the ones that I've bought to listen to, because I picked one up off eBay for Star Trek, and it's 2 of the episodes, the soundtrack for them. And then the other one is Black Panther, which I still haven't listened to yet.
That's the Mondo one, isn't it? I think.
No, it's just the normal. It's just the normal one.
I thought Mondo released that.
No, this is one I got from HMV.
Yeah, but isn't it it is Mondo's album.
I didn't think it was, but I'll have a look.
Yeah, the only people that have released that score was Mondo. So because you can buy Mondo soundtracks in HMV, I've seen them in there quite a few times.
Mm.
So sometimes they have one or two sitting around because a friend of mine in the family, he picked up the Halloween Mondo at HMV.
Yeah.
So they do float around.
Oh, and I've also got Blade Runner to listen to as well.
Oh, good, yeah. Sweet.
Mm. So, yeah, really enjoyed listening to music. I just, for once, rather than having it on while I'm doing other stuff, I actually just sort of like sat there and listened to it and just sort of like closed my eyes and let the music wash over, which is I used to do a lot of, but I never seem to have the time these days. But I sort of made a bit of time to do it.
Background music, sometimes you don't listen to it properly, you see.
Yeah, exactly. What else did I do? Oh, I was going to have a go at Flight Simulator.
Go on.
So, because I thought, we need to review it for the show. So, I've been busy all week. So, it came to last night and I thought, right, okay. So, I went onto the Xbox app and I pre-downloaded it, because it said pre-download. I thought, brilliant, smashing, because I knew it was a big thing. And I knew I'd been on the computer with work all day. So, I thought, I'll start it in the morning. It can run all day. It can install itself. It won't be a problem. It'll do it in the background. It won't be worried about it. So I was very confident I'll be able to have a go at this, on Saturday, and started it up. All very well and good. Starts to go up into the sort of like setup of it. It says, what audio pack do you want? So English, right? Brilliant. Downloading 1 megabyte out of 91.36 gigabytes to download.
Is it still downloading?
It's still downloading.
Oh, man.
I left it on for hours and I just got fed up and I was going to bed, so I just switched it off. I thought it could finish off downloading sometime.
It's great to have digital downloads, and don't get me wrong, we all do it every now and then on certain stuff. But I think they've been better to pick up off a disc version, and then if it comes in a Blu-ray pack, it'd be quicker to install the discs one at a time, wouldn't it?
Well, I think it would have been quicker for them to actually say, what area do you want to start flying off from? And just start you in a slow plane so you could actually start the game and then, download the rest of it while you're still playing, because your PCs are strong enough to be able to download the rest of the files and store them while, you're playing the actual game itself. But all it just did was just kept playing this blooming Microsoft Flight Simulator music, and I ended up having to go and mute it in the the sound mixer on my PC because it was just doing my head in. But I thought, honestly, it was supposed to be a pre-download. Why would you just download the installer? It makes no sense to me for a pre-download. Really,
being a PC game, you would normally have that as an installer, surely, anyway.
Yeah, but the point is that it installed it to an interface to install the game. But it installed it to a nice, pretty front end. But I was just, because I just started the Xbox app and said pre-download, and then I just minimised the thing once it said that it was downloading. I thought, cool, because I knew it was big, left it all day, and then when I'd gone to the end of the day and I had a look, it said play. So I thought, fantastic, I can play it whenever it's installed it. It's just taken all day to do it. But no, it must have only installed a few hundred megabytes instead of, all of that other stuff. Surely somebody at Microsoft should have had a thought of saying, well, actually, if we're downloading this, do you think we should install the whole lot all in one go, or at least start it, and then the app can just keep doing it every time the person switches a PC on? Because if they just get to the installer and then try and play it, then have to download 92 gig, they're going to get hacked off. So, yeah, I was hacked off with that, have to admit.
So a week later, still going.
Yeah.
So what's your broadband speed for this?
I'm on 72 megabits. So I download a gig in about 5 minutes. So
you normally would add that up. Do you think it's anywhere near that?
500. It's going to be. It's normally not far off. It's probably going to be. Well, if it's 5 minutes, 92 gig, round it off to 100, 500 minutes. So it's going to be probably about 9 hours, I reckon, to download at a high rate. That's assuming that my son's not watching YouTube and streaming and all of that at the same time. So otherwise, that'll slow down. Which is why when I left it all day, and I'd left it from like 8 o'clock in the morning and then checked the Xbox app at like 10 o'clock at night, I thought, it must have downloaded it all. That's why I was quite happy to think it had. So if anybody else has installed it, be aware you'll probably just go into a front end and then be confronted with a screen saying downloading 92 gig. Utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. And then the other thing that I've had, and I don't know if any other community members have had this as well, but I've got AirPods. So
This is the official
AirPods. Now, one of the problems with AirPods, and the AirPods I've had, and other people have this as well, is that the left AirPod sometimes stops working. And what you've got to do is forget the AirPods and then reinstall, reconnect to the AirPods. And then it normally solves the problem. Or do a hardware reset on the AirPods, which is the other way of doing it, because in order to do that, they've got to be in the case, and then there's a little hidden button on the back of the case. You hold that for 15 seconds, and it resets it. And there's a little light indicator to show you what's going on. The problem I've got is my AirPods, I just charged up because, I hadn't charged them in a couple of weeks. I just charged them right up to the full capacity, and then went in, I'll listen to some music while I'm laying in bed, put them on. Only one of them was working, so I thought, right, okay, forget the AirPods and then reconnect. Apart from it wouldn't reconnect. It wasn't showing, on the Bluetooth devices, because what you're supposed to do is once you've done it, is all you need to do is open it up, and then it should tell your phone that there's AirPods nearby, and it'll say these aren't connected to you. Do you want to connect to them? That didn't work. So I thought, right, okay, hardware reset. Hardware reset's not working either. I've held down that blooming button for over a minute. Holding it down, waiting for it. But every time I press it, it just goes straight back to the green light, but it's not connected to anything. And it's supposed to go to like a flashing colour when it's ready to connect, or a red. And it's not recognising it when you open up the case to say, oh, here are my AirPods. So I'm really up the creek without a paddle with them, basically, at the moment, because I cannot get them to work, and they're fully charged. So what I'm doing is keep putting them into the charging case, because obviously the charging case has batteries as well in it, and then recharging them, taking them out of the case, leaving them for hours, and then putting them back in, because the charging case will do several times before it needs to be redone. So I'm basically draining all power out of everything and hoping that as a sort of like last ditch attempt at a hardware reset by forcing it to wipe its memory and start again, as it were. That's what I'm hoping it does. Whether or not it does do that or not is another matter, but I've read on a website that it does work doing it that way. But if that doesn't work, they're dead, which is really annoying because I've hardly used them. And, the great quality to listen to. I love my AirPods, but that's just hacked me off.
Well, I thought they were supposed to be pretty, simple to install, and they work every time. But I suppose, it's not doesn't it?
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody else has had any AirPods, but if anybody has, do you know of a way to get them working other than what I've already said, then please let me know. Because
is there like a default you can put them to as if they're out of the box again?
Yeah, just take them out of the box.
No, what I mean is delete them, delete all the files, or the
No, because it's software on the devices themselves.
Right.
So my phone doesn't recognise them at the moment. It's not listed on my phone.
Do they need an update by any chance or anything like that? Maybe.
Maybe, but that's why I'm letting them completely drain, so that it might hopefully force an issue when I recharge it up. That's my thought. Whether or not that thought works or not is another matter. But at the moment, the case is still has loads of charging, so it's going to be probably days before I'm able to actually see if this works. But it's just frustrating, very frustrated. But hey, technology, it's modern world issues, isn't it? At the end of the day.
Yeah, certainly is.
Never
mind.
Yeah, so that's about it. So anything else to add?
Oh, I just realised that I finally got a date for the second Peter Benchley novel that come to film about 1977. So 101 Films have now given us the release date for The Deep, which I haven't seen probably since I saw it in the cinema. And that's coming in September, so I'm looking forward to picking that up because it's been a while. It was not really a spin-off from Jaws from Peter Benchley's point of view, but it's quite a good movie because you've still got Robert Shaw in this one and Jacqueline Bisset that comes to mind as well. So The Deep, can't wait to get that. But when it hits the mat, it'd be quite good to watch again. It's been a long time coming for that.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen it at all or know it.
No, I haven't.
Okay, you'll have to have Mr. Google will explain it all to you.
Okay, cool. Right, well, in that case, then we'll move on to gaming this week. All right, so gaming this week, and Steve, have you got any news? Because I have to admit, I've been a bit busy and not able to really.
There's something I can mention because it's all down to what I want to talk about later. So just a brief part of this. DC Fandom was yesterday, and it was a whole day convention.
Is this gaming news or is this?
This is gaming news. This is gaming.
Oh, cool,
news.
Cool.
And they showed us 2 games in this time. So the first one is Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League It's called. So this is. There's a trailer out for this that's out at the moment. This game is the one from Rockstar.
All right, yeah.
So, and the trailer, if you go and have a look
Rockstar
at that.
Rockstar or Rocksteady?
Sorry, Rocksteady.
Yeah.
So obviously they did the Batman, the Batman games and all of that. So there's that they showed you. And also there is another game which is called, which I'm going to have to scroll to find now because it's just disappeared off my page. And it is called
The Arkham Knights.
Yes, no, it's not called that. Sorry, it's called Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights, that's it. But that's not the follow-up to the Batman games, is it? That's,
no, this is not
just
even
in the same universe.
This isn't actually Rocksteady.
Yeah.
So this is a separate game completely, and well worth a look. The trailer's amazing. The gameplay looks very much like what Rocksteady would do. So we got double DC for games coming soon. And the trailer for Gotham Knights revealed that Batman's dead. That's how the trailer starts, but I'm sure that may be not the case.
Well, I can't remember what it was called, but wasn't it Apocalypse Protocol or something that if you completed the game 100%, that's what Batman did at the end of the last game?
Yeah. But so from that point of view for DC Fandom that was yesterday, there is if you want to check out from the gaming point of view, you can go on, you can YouTube it and you'll find the two trailers. There's also some gameplay for Gotham Knights as well. But really cool. I had such a great evening last night watching all this stuff. But the best stuff is going to be talked about later with the movies.
Okay.
Anyway, back to gaming, should we say? Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of gaming releases this week, we've got quite a few, so hold on to your hats here. So these are from the 25th. So we've got No Straight Roads on the PC, PS4, Xbox and Switch. We've got Pixel Ripped 1989 on the PSVR, New World on the PC. And then from the 27th, we have Tell Me Why Chapter 1 on PC and Xbox. I think that was one of the ones that was in the Xbox expose, so that should be coming to Game Pass, I believe. We've got Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition on the PS4 and Switch. And we've got Road to Guandong on PC, PS4 and Switch. And then from the 28th, there is, if you like your Sims, Project Cars. We've got Captain Sebastian Rise of Champions. We've got Ninja Legends VR on PSVR. We've got Mafia Definitive Edition on PC, PS4, Xbox One and Stadia. Well, hey. Wasteland 3 on PC, PS4 and Xbox One, and Windbound on PC, PS4, Xbox One and Switch. Yeah. So that's all of the new releases for the next up and coming week. We do have some information about Game Pass. Do you want to go through the new stuff, and I'll go through the replace and what's going out?
So what's confirmed coming to the console in August? We have Darksiders Genesis. We have It Lurks Below, the Dark Pictures Anthology, Man of Maiden, Trailmakers, Undermine, Xenocrisis, Final Fantasy VII HD, which I think is actually already out. Anyway, it was added a week ago. Spitfire, Battletoads, Don't Starve, the Giant Edition, New Super Lucky's Tale, Hypospace Outlaw, Tell Me Why Chapter 1, Kick Heroes, Wasteland 3 and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. What's leaving? Devil May Cry, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Yuku's Island Express, Creature in the Well, Genesis' Twisted Dreams Director's Cut, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HD, Metro, The Last Light Redux, and Jackbox Party Pack 3. Here's some games from Xbox Game Pass. So this is in September. It's leaving. So NBA 2K20 and Red Redemption 2. Blimey, already? Seems like that long ago.
Well, Grand Theft Auto didn't stay that long either.
No, and I'll take a big deep breath on that one.
So
Epic.
In terms of Epic, we've got Enter the Gungeon and God's Trigger are now available until the 27th of August. And then from the 27th of August, we've got Hitman and Shadowrun Collection, and that's until the 3rd of September. Actually, just does remind me about a bit of news that I did have in terms of Hitman 3, is that is going to be exclusive to Epic. So for the PC, so obviously not for the consoles. But yeah, there's a lot of talk going on about that. And obviously there is the current battle that is going on between Epic and Apple, which seems to be exactly the same sort of issue that Microsoft has had with them about stuff on their game store. And this is all over the fact that in terms of Epic, they've now introduced something where you can buy a cheaper version of the season pass by buying it directly from the Epic store in game rather than by buying it through your Apple device. And Microsoft has said that breaks the terms and conditions of them, and there's all sorts of stuff going on in relation to that. So it's interesting. We've got a question later on which I haven't actually copied over into the list yet, so remind me on about that later on, Steve. But that's going to be an interesting sort of area which we can talk about later.
Cool.
Okay, so let's move on to our gaming week. So, Steve, what have you been playing? Because you've been playing a new game that's not Destiny.
I know. God, have I been caning this as well? So, 2K21 PGA Golf, or you're going to call it PGA Golf 2K21. So, we haven't played, put it this way, PGA Tour marks the first official PGA Tour game since 2015. Can you believe that?
Rory did a lot of damage, didn't he?
Right. So, yeah, this is a long time coming. Now, all I've been doing so far, the first thing you have to do when you boot up the game, obviously, you're going to get involved with the tutorial. And what's great is that the announcer explains everything you have to do without having to read it as well, which is pretty cool. And, yeah, you just go through the mechanics of how to play, of how to swing and everything else. It's as much as any golf game you've played, it's exactly the same within reason. Do you know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
And it's pretty easy to pick up and play from that point of view. From there, you will go into a set of menus. Now, the only menu I've been playing at the moment is My Player. So what you do here, you have to do a challenge to earn your Corn Ferry Tour card before progressing to the main tour. And then hopefully with your goal in the FedEx Cup and the Tour Championship. Now, where I'm dealing with that at the minute, you've got 15 official license courses for this. The PGA Tour season I'm playing at the moment has 30 tournaments, and I think I've done about 20 so far, roughly. Now, what I've decided to do is play. I've not gone the whole hog of four rounds per tournament, because, to be honest, it'll take forever, wouldn't it, to do that?
It would.
So I've got it down to one per tournament, but that's fine because I'm learning the courses again and I'm just cracking through them. I'm at the moment actually in the lead with about, I think I'm probably, let's say 20, probably about 23 to 20 tournaments at the moment. I've won about 6 or 8 tournaments. So it's not like I'm winning everything. I'm actually sometimes making mistakes, which I don't mind doing because it would be boring, to be honest, if you did that. You know. But the graphics are great. I like the idea that while you're playing the game, the announcer will then switch to another player in the tournament, and they will show you one of his shots, who's probably one of your rivals against you at the same time.
Yeah.
And very much like a television idea with the commentary. And from this, they used Australian Luke Levy, who 2002 won the PGA Championship. Also, so Rich Beam, he was also one that probably UK Sky viewers will know because he does a bit of broadcasting from that point of view. It's pretty cool, the tournament that I'm playing now. I'm well into this big time. As I say, I haven't touched any other game. And how do I put it? I can rack out 18 holes pretty quickly, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. I just, when you're in that zone and you just play and you just play and you just do it. Yeah. Sometimes I've won the tournament, as I say, sometimes I'm 3rd or 4th down, but it's just fantastic to be able to play a golf game like this now. There's XP to play in the game, which doesn't do a great deal, to be honest, but it does level you up, but for no real reason, I don't think, at the moment, from what I've seen. There's loads of stuff that you can win actually for your golfer to be wearing. It doesn't make any difference to what, like EA used to say, you wear a hat will give you more spin.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any of that crap. So it's just how your golfer wants to look. What you would use is that you would buy the golf clubs with what you earn as coins in the game. And I'm just going to say this now, there's no other way of buying coins other than if you purchase the top digital edition would come with 1,000 coins or something. Do you know what I mean? So other than that, it's just purely you earn these coins as you play the game.
There's no play to win.
No, not in this case, not as far as I can see. And I think it's really great. I can't praise this game enough at the minute. From what I've been doing, there is multiplayer, which I need to get somebody who's been playing the game to have a go with that. And you've got all those different modes. You've got a course build as well if you fancy doing that as well. So there's plenty to keep you busy. And I think it's well worth the purchase, personally. I don't make yourself, because you haven't played a golf game since the last EA one.
No, I mean, it's not my absolute favourite franchises, golf, but I do enjoy sort of like the sometimes semi-relaxing game of golf.
Exactly.
On the computer, because it can, once you get, you're getting good, you start to get a little bit sweaty about, if I make a mistake now, and all of that.
Yeah, it is.
But I for me, this is, I was looking at the price of this, and the cheapest I could pick it up for at the moment seems to be about £45.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of like, in 3 months, I'll probably be able to get it for 20. And I can wait.
Who knows? Who knows? But
yeah, but sports games tend to drop like a stone very quickly in terms of the cost, don't they? Because it tends to be people go out and buy them virtually day one, and then the market of them drops off. And I know that that's for a lot of games, but I think it drops off more for sports games than any other.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, when you come to EA's point of view, FIFA never drops down in price. It's probably the only game that doesn't, until it becomes, well, obviously you get it to a certain point, you can play it with the EA pass.
Yeah.
Which is still a thing, but this isn't on EA's platform. So, but no, I do love just chilling, playing golf. When you don't, I mean, at night time, if you're playing a shooting game of any kind, you're so wound up from playing that sort of game that you need something to come down from that.
Yes.
And if anything, a golf game is just the perfect way to do it. And Yeah, I'm just loving it at the moment. What I want to do is with the playing within the house on my Android phone, I'd like to give that a go and see how that looks.
Yeah.
Because that'd be an extra way of playing the game. I just love playing golf. I have done since I used to play it on the PC back in the day, or even back in the Amiga day as well, with some of the different variations that we used to get.
Not playing leaderboard on the Commodore 64 then.
Well, I played versions of leaderboard on the Amiga.
Yeah.
I remember playing there, and obviously my favourite golf game, if we go back to the original Xbox, would have been Lynx, if you remember that game. And that was, I mean, if you tried to bring it out there, it wouldn't be a patch on what we got today. But it's just brilliant. I'm just loving it. Love playing the game. And there's a few people I've noticed have picked this up. I'll have to give them a shout to try online to see how it plays.
Yeah, I mean, it was one that I was considering, but I thought, no, I'm going to get
there's
it later.
There's no other game at the minute that I'm going to be picking up.
Yeah.
I can't think of one that's going to be there at the moment. November will be Destiny 2, obviously, and other than that, what have we got coming out? Even if Cyberpunk's not till November either.
Mm. Well, the thing for me is November's going to be 2 consoles, so...
Yeah, and what about some of the shock prices we're hearing of that? I don't know.
I don't think that the shock prices. It started off saying they were going to be £600. Then people said, "Oh, they're going to be cheaper than this gen," and now they've gone back to the middle somewhere. And I was expecting them to be about 450 to 500, 550 at the most. I don't think that they'll break the 500 price barrier, though.
I think in these times at the moment, I don't think they could.
No,
I still would like to think it's going to be cheaper than that, even by £100 if they can. But I think they've got to realise that COVID-19 has a lot to answer for a lot of people in their work. So
yeah, and the last story that I heard about this was the PlayStation All Digital is going to be $399. The Xbox Series X is going to be $429. And the PlayStation full blown with the drive is going to be $499. So that still sort of like fits in with everything that we've been hearing, and it's sub the 500 mark for each one of them. I think if Xbox turned around and said, "Right, we're going to release the Xbox for $549," and PlayStation said $549, I think I would not get the Xbox because I've got Game Pass. So I can still play on my X. I can play on my PC, so that I'm not going to actually miss any content, whereas PlayStation I can't. So that's sort of like the way that my mentality would work.
And I'm the other way around because of what I want to play, and PlayStation will be. Well, I can still play the same games on the PlayStation Pro, so I've got no problem with that at the minute.
Yeah, but what I mean is, I'm not going to lose out on any content. I'm just going to lose out on a better graphics. That's the difference.
Yeah, but then some of those games you'd be playing on PC, maybe. So
yeah,
there's a different spin on that there. I suppose we could say, isn't it?
A little bit, but not tremendously so. Once if you're playing with a controller, it's no different than playing on anything else.
No, I know. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out, because I think it's, a lot of people might decide not to just purchase one at a full stop anyway.
Well, I've heard a lot of people saying about not purchasing an Xbox because of Game Pass. It seems like it's forcing people down the thing of, well, if I have to choose one or the other, but keep hold of my old Xbox, I can still have PlayStation and all of the exclusives. So
not that there's a great deal that's coming out that's exclusive, really. Do you know what I mean? I still think that PlayStation haven't got enough to me to say, wow, I must get one. And at the moment, then they're so far. Some of those games are going to be so far behind when they come out that'd be when I would pick them up.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's still my preferable choice to have both. Rather than
we'll just see how it all pans out when we hear all the news.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only way that you can do it, really.
So, other than Destiny, do you want to talk about Destiny?
Yeah, have you played any?
No, not a bean. But
Right.
I can't be bothered at the minute because I was thinking about going for obviously you've been deep. I don't know how you've been getting on with the armour.
Well, I've got my Majestic armour now.
Mm. Can you have the glow to that or not?
No, because you've got to get the next level up to get the glow.
Point. And because of what you've got to do with that to get the final part of armour, I think that it was wrong for Bungie to make it so, orientated for PvP.
Yeah.
On that point of view, because the armour a year ago, you didn't have to do that. Because I have got the full armour with the glow.
Well, it's actually not that totally PvP. The only one that's really on there for PvP is you have to do Trials of Osiris, and you have to win 7 rounds of it. Exactly. I'm assuming that's not 7 rounds in a row.
Possibly, I wouldn't put it past it, but that's my point.
If they did that, that would be unachievable for most people. I don't think they're going to do that. But what they have done, which has made the next level unachievable for me, and I did reach out to Gavin because I know that he plays it sometimes, but he's evidently stopped playing it at the moment, and that is to try and see if there's anybody who's in the fire team to do a master difficulty
Nightfall,
but also do the Pit of Heresy.
Yeah, but you can't. But doing them, there's no point if you can't do trials. What's the point?
Well,
trials is a part of that armor.
Yeah, I know, but I could do an LFG for trials. Just say,
but I'll tell you what, I think it is going to be 7 wins. If you double check on if you go into it,
it doesn't say 7 consecutive wins.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's why I can't be asked with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other ones, like do a nightmare hunt. That's easy.
Yeah,
and that but what they should have done is made it so that it wasn't the master difficulty. What they should have said was, right, we're not going to make people do Trials of Osiris, and what we'll do is we'll say anybody who wants, who does like the Nightfall, will learn that, but maybe make you do 3 or 4 Nightfalls. I would have accepted that, fine. But it's this thing of making you do stuff in a team. Not everybody plays in a team. We're completely out of sync on the game.
Yeah.
And I bet that your light level's still higher than mine anyway, because you've played a lot more of it than I have for ages.
Yeah, my light level, sure, I'll tell you in a sec, once it boots up, so I'm just going to load the app at the moment, which for some reason is taking a little time. Why is that?
No idea. Slow internet?
No, you'd be stupid. Slow internet, my arse. It's called Bungie app's not working because load to check your network. Oh, get lost. We're doing a bloody podcast on the network. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
It just pisses me off sometimes. It really does. So if I just do that and I do that and I go back on, because everything in here is Wi-Fi'd up anyway, so it's not an issue.
Yeah.
From that point of view. And right, let's have a look. No, it's telling me to get lost. Anyway. Yeah, well, so I'm up to a fair old way up anyway. But do
you remember approximately where?
While you chat away, I will log into Bungie.
Yeah, well, I've logged into Bungie, so I've been doing a bit with each of my characters. But my Hunter's 1059, my Titan's 1037, and my Warlock's 1036.
Yeah, so.
But I know you'll be higher because you were.
So the season. So I've completed the season progress.
Yeah.
That's done, and as it's loading Destiny at the moment, it's taking its time. I'm just trying to find where you can look for your players, or your actual characters.
Look at your view profile. Does this make great radio, doesn't it?
It doesn't. Oh, I'm sure they don't mind because they're probably sitting there picking a.
Yeah, thinking out.
So my Warlock, it says 1044, but that's only the reason it's that is because I've got the armor for.
Yeah, you've got the blue armor on.
Yeah. So if I took that out, because I won't be able to do it.
You must be around about 1060 then.
Yeah, 1064, something like that, I think, if memory serves.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my weapons are about 1053.
Yeah, mine are all, one's at 1050 and the rest are at 1049. So I'm just a little bit behind you.
Yeah, but no, I want to carry on with the actual season itself, with what's going on there. I need to do the weekly part of that.
Yeah.
See,
I'm only on level 55, 56 of the season, so I've still got loads of it to do. We're not sure how long this season goes on for.
I've got a funny feeling we've got
about 3 weeks in it.
So, season of the arrivals, what we're in at the moment, yeah?
Yeah.
It does say June 9th to November 10th at the moment.
Oh, well, I've got loads of time then.
Which is, I thought there was a few. Well, I know there's going to be something else that's going to kick in because we're going to have the evacuation at some point.
Yeah, because I was looking at what is going from Destiny.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I sat and read it all. And I thought, well, what's going to be left? Because it seems like 90% of the game's going. You're not going to have Nightfalls anymore. You're not going to have Strikes. You're not going to have Gambit.
Well, Gambit is going to be redone into one game as such. So we have 2 versions of Gambit. You've got Gambit Prime and normal Gambit, yeah?
Yeah.
But it's going to be Gambit Prime's going to be the main way of playing the game. That's all it is. I'm sure that's what they said. So Gambit's still going to be there because he's actually integral part of the story.
See, I would much rather it that they just did. Gambit was like one level of normal Gambit rather than having best of 3. Because Gambit Prime always feels a bit of a chew on, I always think.
Oh, I enjoy Gambit. I enjoy Gambit Prime.
I prefer normal Gambit.
Because you can have one game and that compared to it. But yeah, I mean, the Nightfalls that are going will be the ones on the planets that are disappearing.
Mm.
You know, so... But yeah, no, so what we got... So we're Solstice of Heroes is August 11th to September the 8th, okay?
Yeah.
What we're going to get from October the 6th to November the 3rd, we're going to get Festival of the Lost.
Which is a Halloween thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Mm.
And let's have a look. I'm just looking at the
more calendar. Getting candy and pumpkins.
Yes, that's fine. I don't mind that. That's all right. So Solstice of Heroes finishes September the 8th. The season will carry on till November. Moments of Triumph is carrying on till November the 10th as well. And I'm just seeing if it doesn't say anything differently to do with the season of arrivals. No. Yeah, it's just saying, as I said before, that's still carrying on. So they're just going to extend it.
Mm.
So you might want to do that just to get your bits and bobs. I mean, the only thing I haven't collected, which I'm doing this time, I'm not picking up my exotics because I'm going to wait until the new season kicks in.
Right.
Because what will happen then is there'll be a different loot pool that it would get mixed in with, hopefully. So I'm not sure. I've got about, how many is there? So if I go back to 100, so if I go backwards, I'm looking to the exotics. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 4 or 5. I've got about five to pick up within the game.
Yeah.
5 exotic engrams, but I'm not going to use those until the new season kicks in.
Yeah, well, a lot of the vendors are going as well, aren't they? Because obviously they're linked to the planets. But in terms of, the gunsmith, I've got like over 4,000 of his currency.
Yeah. Just
sat there because.
So maybe, I don't know. I haven't looked at a few YouTube videos for a bit. Yeah. Maybe it's worth using the ones that you'll be getting. The planets that are disappearing. It's you spending all that material and then just breaking down the armor for shards, maybe.
Mm. Well, no, you can't because it's a gunsmith, so the gunsmith's only in the tower.
Yeah, I'm on about if you go to the actual individuals, on the planet.
Yeah, but they collect glimmer, don't they? And shards. That's the currency that they use.
No, they do. I think I can't remember off the top of my head now, but I'm sure they do as well. There's other parts of stuff as well that they use.
Mm.
It's not just glimmer, I don't think. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this is all going to play out. I'm sure, once those planets disappear, it's going to be much more streamlined, especially when we got places to visit again from the past, and new places within the icy planet and everything else. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, we will. But I must admit, I'm not happy about them getting rid of planets. I know that there's a reason for it, but
well, you can't keep building the game like that because it'd be just getting huge. And then that. So they're just doing a bit of a sprinkling. They can come back. They're just gonna put them in a vault and leave them there. So you can bring them back.
I think they should give you the option of being able to archive them off. You know, saying that these are the ones that
different people. You can't, because you can't have some people with different planets in their game, because you can't then join the same sort of game with them, can you?
No, obviously, if it's a striker, it's on a planet that someone else has not put into mothballs. But that's not what I mean. I mean, you know, only do the matchmaking and that on the planets, the new planets, but allow you to be able to go back to those other planets. I don't know. I just think it's.
Don't worry about it. It'll all be fine. Honestly,
I just don't like it as a concept, because they're taking away stuff that we've paid for, basically.
Yeah,
and there
is a small print within all this with online games. You do know that's going to say we have the right to take our stuff away and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. I still don't think it's right, but that's a different matter. Anyway,
so I'm just looking at moments of triumph at the moment. I've got 13 done at the moment.
Right.
13 out of 28, but who knows? Arrivals, I'm on 15 of 21, so it's interesting. Mod collectors I've got to finish off. Secret triumph there. I've got to find and destroy all the Savuthian's eyes. Oh, well, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Can't be asked. Yeah, okay. That won't happen. Anyway, should we move on?
Yeah, so the other game that I wanted to talk about was a game called Neon Abyss. So this is a game that's on Game Pass. It's more of an indie kind of game. Basically, it's a frantic, roguelike sort of action platformer where you run and gun your way across different platformed rooms as part of the Hades-formed Grim Squad. So when you enter the rooms, almost immediately you're locked in, and then you kill all of the enemies in the room in order to be able to exit. If you die, you start from the beginning all over again, back to level 1, all of that sort of thing. You lose all of your upgrades, all of that. And it's more of a run and shoot version of games that have gone before, like Dead Cells, if you've played that. It's okay game to play. It's quite enjoyable. Like I said, it is free on Game Pass, but it's also out on the Nintendo Switch, which you can imagine would be a good platform for it. The PS4, obviously Xbox One and Microsoft Windows. I've had a couple of hours on it. It's great for a little bit of a filler. You don't really want to get into anything too heavy. You just want to be sort of entertained, but it's beyond that. I wouldn't wholly recommend it. And if you don't like those sort of Dead Cell sort of games, you definitely won't like this one. So I would steer clear if that would describe you. But graphically, it's one of those sort of high-bit games. Again, as well, it looks fine. It is what it is. It's only 667 megabyte install, so it's not like it's going to take you forever to download or anything either. So that's that game. Not much really else to say about it. It's just quite a simple little game to play. So anyway, shall we move on to movies, TV, and streaming? Okay. All right, so Steve, do you want to give us some more of your DC fandom thing that you watched?
Okay, so as I said earlier, DC fandom is a 24-hour convention, free for all to watch on YouTube and all sorts of places. One of the first things they did show us was a new trailer. Well, I suppose it's the official main trailer for Wonder Woman 1984.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'm so stoked for this. It looks amazing. As well as chatting to the director, Gal Gadot as well, they also brought in our former love of Wonder Woman as well, with Linda Carter.
Yeah.
She was on there as well, chatting about it. I think I tell you, Zoom's got a lot to answer for now, because that's how they do a lot of these sort of parties they do. But yeah, so that was the first trailer they released, and from there I did watch a panel regarding the Flash for the TV show.
Okay.
And that was interesting because they were talking about how the show, they obviously, we said they were a bit short on the episodes. We thought they were a bit. The reason for that was that they were still working on the series when COVID kicked in. So the episode they were working on, which they had to sort of abandon at the time, will be the start of the new season. And so they had a nice little chat with all the members of the cast, and they showed a reveal trailer for this coming season. I
mean, to be fair, where it ended up did feel like the end of a season, but it also felt like there was more as well. So they were lucky to get to that point, really.
Yeah, they were. There was also, I watched another panel to do with the movie Flash.
Right.
So they had I can't think of it. Ezra, who plays in the Flash, and they were chatting about that. They were talking about his new outfit with some concept art as well. So that was pretty cool to watch. We did get the 2 game trailers, as we said. Then we had a sneak peek at the new movie from Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it wasn't an actual trailer. What we got was it was like a sneak peek behind the scenes. And that looks awesome as well. The amount of characters are going to be involved in this, I was obviously not write this down, but again, that's something else that's wow, really cool. The next great thing that I enjoyed was Zack Snyder had a panel discussing the Justice League version that he's been putting together. Now, what he said is that we're going to have 4 one-hour episodes of this for this movie.
Right.
And then later on, if you do want to watch it in its entirety, there will be a way to watch the whole film if you want to sit in for 4 hours and do that. They had a trailer for it, a sneak trailer, and wow, lots of images there that weren't originally in the original movie, and it's amazing. My jaw just dropped for this one. Do you know what I mean? Well worth a watch. Definitely check out the trailer for that. And the last thing they showed, which I only watched this morning because I was up late watching it, but it was they were doing other bits and pieces in between, because there was obviously some other TV stuff during the whole thing they were dealing with. They were dealing with Titans and other shows.
Yeah,
that's going on. So there's a lot more to watch if you want to go onto YouTube. But the last thing they were talking about, we had a Batman teaser trailer.
Yes, that's out now, isn't it?
Have you seen it yet?
I haven't. Well, I've seen it on screen, but I haven't seen it to watch.
Oh,
I've seen the stills of it.
So Robert Pattinson, who I thought would be a bit of a dweeb in this, oh boy, does he kick ass! And there's a scene within the trailer where he fights this one bloke, and he's just mental at him, absolutely mental. And the trailer sets up Gotham City riddled with crime. Surprise, surprise. And Bruce Wayne trying to figure out all the place in all this. There was an appearance for Zoe, I can't pronounce her surname now, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman.
Right. And
Jeffrey Wright James as James Gordon. So there's a lot to be said about this movie. And oh boy, I can't wait for that to come out as well. I think all my Christmases come at once, because I've always thought that Marvel obviously had the edge on everything else. And here we are with this fandom 24 hours, which is showing us stuff that's coming out in the not too distant future. There was another movie they announced, but there was like a 5 minutes with the main actor for it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to be getting Black Adam.
Yes, with Dwayne Johnson.
Yes, and he came on, and there was a few questions live that he took answers to.
Yeah.
And yeah, that looks interesting. There's a lot of concept art for this sort of official trailer, because they've not even filmed it yet. So there's no real footage to be seen where it's all comic art. But yeah, we do love a bit of The Rock, so that should be interesting.
Yeah,
because it's a part of the Justice Society of America.
Yes.
So So you have Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher. It'll all be incorporated with Black Adam. So yeah, bloody great. I really, really enjoyed that.
Does it have Starman on as well?
Not that I noticed.
Right.
But as I say, I came in and out of watching it on YouTube.
Right.
But if you go through it, there's a lot of other panels that I didn't watch. But these are the main headlines with all these big trailers. Wonder Woman, mate. Oh, my word.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer for Wonder Woman. That looks great.
Yeah. And actually on Amazon today, Hans Zimmer released one of the themes from Wonder Woman.
Right.
And you can hear that. And that sounds amazing. And also a version from Blue Monday's New Order is out on Amazon as well, which is linked to the movie.
Cool.
And I've just Googled for the soundtrack for this, which is not available yet in any shape or form. I should keep an eye out for that because I'm hoping Music on Vinyl will do it. Mm-hmm. The same with, because obviously I've got Wonder Woman on there as well.
Yeah.
And that is a great score to pick up. And they have done another pressing. So the one I do have is gold vinyl, 2 albums.
Mm-hmm.
They've repressed another 1,500 or 2,000, whatever it is, in another colour. And it's, as I say, how you've got your Casino Royale is actually how they did this, and it's a lovely set. So if you like the Wonder Woman score, it's worth a pick up.
Yeah, I might have a look at that.
So yes, that's about it really. I think I didn't. Do you know? Oh yeah, I did watch the first of the 3 movies, Deep Blue Sea, again because my missus hasn't seen them all, and so I'd never seen Deep Blue Sea 2, let alone Deep Blue Sea 3, which is coming out now.
Yeah.
So we went back and watched the original one, and I forgot. I actually forgotten the ending because I didn't realise how many people died in it. But it's nice to see it again.
Right.
Nothing special, but yeah.
Okay.
So how about yourself? I've got a guess. I can probably guess what you might have been watching, but you can tell.
Well, we haven't got there yet, have we? Because we haven't done the cinema releases or the Blu-ray charts or anything.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, you're getting a bit ahead of yourself there, Steve.
I am.
Yeah. So cinema releases then. So. On the 26th of August, we've got Tenet. On the 28th of August, we've got Hope Gap, Away and Savage. And then on the 30th of August, we've got Hall. So Tenet is the one that obviously Christopher Nolan. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Do you want to do the Blu-ray
yeah, I'm just going to say
releases?
Quickly because I did notice with the Wonder Woman trailer, it does say cinemas only. So it means we're all going to have to, if we want to see that movie, we're going to have to venture out into the cinema. I know some people don't like the idea of it at the moment.
No, people don't. But
if you want to see it, you're going to have to go to the cinema. Now, obviously, we're talking. I can't think when the release date was. It might be a couple of months yet. But yeah, it's interesting to see how many people will be going out to the cinema. I certainly go. Even I think the missus will come. I did say about this. Said we got to go and see Wonder Woman. So.
Well, I'm thinking about going to see Tenet on, at the cinema. So we'll see.
Okay, doke. So Blu-ray DVD releases. We have just a couple here. Some note. The Flash Season 6 Blu-ray DVD. The Fifth Element Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray and DVD. Morricone conducts Morricone. So that'd be interesting what that is. Other than a quick look, say Deep Blue Sea 3, which I was talking about earlier on. Other than that, I can't see a great deal. Actually, I did have one steelbook arrive this week. Actually, I didn't mention from Zavi, our friends, and I've got the 40th anniversary of Airplane.
Surely you can't be serious.
I was waiting for that. So yeah, so I did that. I picked that up. But anyway, so. Okay, cinema charts, yeah?
Yeah, so cinema charts. At number 5, we've got 100% Wolf. At number 4, we've got Onward. At number 3, we've got Pinocchio. At number 2, we've got Unhinged. And at number 1, we've got Inception, the 10th anniversary. Wow, is it really 10 years?
Oh, crazy, isn't it?
It is. Okay,
Blu-ray DVD chart. So down from 3 to 5, we have 1917, a re-entry, Doctor Who, the Complete 6 series. I would say it's I don't say this is a re-entry because at number 3 in we have Billington's Excellent Invention. I think that's the 4K version as well.
It is 4K. Well, I think they've re-released both, haven't they?
Yeah, so definitely you can pick up on 4K. Obviously, what I mentioned last week, Star Wars Return of the Jedi is in at 2, and number 1, no guesses there, is Flash Gordon.
Yes, that movie with outdated views.
Yes. And
sorry, go on. No, go on.
No, I'm sure we're going to hear about that in a minute. I've put my mortgage on it.
Well, I was gonna say, shall we have a segue straight into what I've been watching?
I've got nothing to talk about with this. The floor is yours, as they say. Will I drink my beer?
Yeah, so obviously last week I mentioned about the problems that I was having with Zavvi and their customer non-support. Basically, they finally did send me the Flash Gordon special 40th anniversary collector's edition. And my God, is it fantastic. It really is absolutely fantastic. Well worth the money as far as I'm concerned. So basically what all the fuss was about, it's got the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and 2 Blu-ray discs, a bonus disc of Life After Flash feature-length documentary, which you can also pick up separately. There is the soundtrack from Queen. There's a 32-page booklet. There's a 16-page Titan mini book, the story of Flash Gordon. There's a reproduced booklet of the original Flash Gordon comic strip, 4 art cards, Flash Sew patch, and a poster of the original artwork. All that I can say is my son and I watched the movie. He has seen bits of it before, but he has never seen it, and he was absolutely obsessed with it. So I've given him my old version on the Blu-ray of the movie, because I was going to just take it to CEX, but you don't get anything for it anyway. So I thought, well, he might as well have it, because if he likes it so much, he can watch it upstairs.
Yeah.
And I know you said it was a good Blu-ray copy, but my God, is it clear? Sort of like painfully. It's like painfully clear.
It shows those imperfections of the human body, doesn't it?
Or perfections of the human body in some of the cases.
Yeah.
But sort of like every detail is there. And I mean, this visually is a fantastic looking movie anyway, because of the over-the-top costumes, sets, colours, everything, and the fantastic colours with the HDR really make that movie pop like it's never popped before. And, you know, it lifts this 40-year-old classic movie basically to another level, I think. And it makes it feel like a new movie again.
I've not looked at the special features on my version yet.
Yeah,
because I'm assuming it's probably just got all the same features you have. Just probably, I'm 2 discs short.
Yeah, well, I got the Life After Flash thing as well, didn't I? The documentary, which I've seen before, actually, and it is really, really good.
I'm not sure if that's on the special features disc I've got.
No, it's a separate disc, but basically, it has interviews with the cast and stuff like that. I mean, Alan and I were planning on doing a special on Flash Gordon, and we've actually, it's been written for weeks, months, in a matter of fact, but obviously since Alan's taken ill and the time to just get it recorded with him going back to work and whatever, we just never got it done. But obviously Alan and I have a real love for this movie. And some of the stuff that we found out about it doing the research on the movie, because you know, for doing this special, like for example, most of the dialogue for Flash Gordon isn't actually Sam Jones saying it, because as you know, whenever a film's produced, they tend to record the audio and then dub the audio again from to get a more perfect copy of the sound by having them in a sound booth and saying all of the words. Apart from and obviously miming, saying it to their lips so it all goes. But Sam Jones was never called back because he'd had some sort of a falling out with the producers, Dino et al. And so he never actually got asked back, and they had a sort of unnamed other person dub most of his lines in the movie, which is really quite interesting, which is why when you watch Ted, he sounds so different, because it was a different person's voice. And you look at, you find out things like the last bit where it's, the robot flies up and then says, she says, Flash, don't move, stay where you are. And then it says, long live Flash Gordon, you've saved your Earth. And then he jumps up and goes, yeah. Well, evidently that was just completely improvised.
Oh, okay.
That was never planned. So, we found out loads of details about the movie because we were just going to go blow by blow, scene by scene through it all. And some of the stuff is really quite funny that you actually find out. And like how half of the crew thought they were doing something serious and the other half thought they were doing something that was a comedy, which is why it comes out as this sort of like camp sort of affair, as it were. So it's really fascinating, the history about the movie. But the box set, I know that it's £50 for one movie, effectively speaking. But if you're a big fan of the show, which I am, of the movie rather, I'm thoroughly happy with it as a box set.
I guess, again, and I've said this many times, if it's one of your favourite films, I don't get me wrong, I love this movie, so I know I would have gone for that, but I thought, well, I'm going to go for the Steelbook, which I wanted. But if it's a movie you love that much, then why not? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice thing to have, and the boxing of it's really nice as well. It's a really attractive looking sort of box way that they've designed it.
I'm just gutted we haven't got the Arrow edition, to be honest, instead of the Studio Canal. But I know it's just the way it works sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. My Pitch Black arrived on for launch day, surprisingly enough.
Wonder why.
so that asthmatic ant with a bad sense of direction, because it was evidently sent out a Monday before. Finally, it took him a week to get from Sheffield to where I live. So, which is not far; it's an hour away in the car. But anyway, that's a separate matter. So, moving on from that, but I would highly recommend either get it on Blu-ray UHD. Or if you are a big fan of it, like I am, then the box, the collector's edition box set, it is a proper collector's edition. It's really, really good, well worth the money. Going over, actually, I'm going to be Netflix and Amazon Prime in next, because there's two great shows to watch. The first one is The Return of Lucifer, season 5. So Tom Ellis as Lucifer is back on Netflix. It's a bit of I don't even know if it's like half of the season that they've done, because there's about 8 episodes and it ends on a cliffhanger. So either there's going to be a season 6 or they've just given us part of the season and we have to wait for the next part. But basically all of the old crew is back on Lucifer. So you've got Amadil, you've got Lucifer himself, the detective, her ex-husband, all the CSI person. You could tell I used to work for the police. We used to call them Soccos rather than CSIs. All of that sort of stuff. They're all back and all doing their things in their roles, and it's really nice to see, because this show was cancelled and then it got resurrected by Netflix and it was cancelled and now it's back again. So, and we know that this also operates in the same world as the multiverse for DC, because Tom Ellis appeared as Lucifer in the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, okay. I can remember that for years, actually.
Yeah, he is. He is there. It's like a cameo that he's there, but I think it's Constantine talks to him about something. So that would be actually quite good, having a crossover with Constantine on on Lucifer.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Constantine as I do like his character, and I know he's probably misused in Legends. We won't talk about that, but it's some other crossovers I'd like to see, actually, which is a few crossovers we're going to be going to see soon, but it's getting a bit odd and confused in how many crossovers we're going to get regarding the Flash and all that.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton's Batman and, all the other Batmans as well.
Yeah, but thinking about that, I also heard that evidently Batflick's going to be on with Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah, that's right. He is as well. So
How
they'll all be saying I'm Batman.
Yeah. I'm Batman.
Mental, isn't it?
Yeah, achievement unlocked. So anyway, yeah, so if you like Lucifer, then season 5's out now. So it's nice to see that back. Another one, which is a DC universe again, but over on Amazon Prime, is Stargirl. Now, the reason why I asked was Starman mentioned in that is because after discovering the original Star Spangled Kids gear, as in Starman's, teenage Courtney Whitmore joins the Justice Society of America as Stargirl, teaming up with her stepfather, Pat Dugan, in a robotic exosuit. And it's all based on the comic Stars and Stripe. So okay. You mentioned earlier on something about the Justice Society of America.
With Black Adam, yeah.
Yeah. So I was wondering whether or not Starman was involved in that, because Starman is Joel McHale.
Okay. That reminds. Can I butt in here? I just wanted to say there was another panel that was on there.
Right.
It was Shazam. Check that one out. That was funny.
Yeah, I will.
So I know you enjoyed that. I know you enjoyed that film as well, because they're talking about Shazam too. But yeah, go on, carry on. I do. Yeah.
So if you've seen, if you know who I mean by Luke Wilson, he plays Stripe or Pat Dugan on this. So he was on My Super Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh, but yes, I remember that.
Yeah, he was the one who had the Super Ex-Girlfriend.
I love that film. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I do. It's a really funny film. So anyway, he's him and Joel McHale are probably the big stars on this. You don't see much of Joel McHale apart from the first episode and somewhere else in the season, which I'm not going to say where. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's sort of like a quirky sort of not is what it is sort of show Stargirl. And it's not. It doesn't take itself too seriously. Let's put it that way. It just does what it's supposed to, and doesn't worry about the rest. So I quite enjoyed watching it. Actually, it was a bit of a refreshing change because it's Breck Bassinger who plays Stargirl on this. She's like a 21-year-old actress from Texas. I don't know if she's any relation to Kim Basinger. I don't think she is. But she plays quite a good role, and they're fighting against the Injustice League of America, who consider themselves to be the good guys because they fight against injustice. Whereas the Justice Society fights for justice. So it's quite an interesting thing, but the way that they go about it is very, very different. Anyway, it's just quite. It's not a bad show. I would recommend if you like your superhero sort of shows, it's one that you'll probably quite enjoy as well. So there's some good things to watch there, I would say.
Cool.
Okay, so unless you've got anything else, shall we go on to our poll and list of questions?
No, not at all. I think that was just to say Shazam just coming to my head because I forgot about that. But yeah, no, crack on.
Right, okay, so we'll go on to the poll. Okay, so we had our poll this week, and it was in relation to backwards compatibility. So what I asked was, were you bothered about it? So it was, completely for it. It was very important, not preferable, but not the end of the world, or not bothered about it at all, or you're on the fence with it, really. So we had 54% of people said it was preferable, but not the end of the world. 37% of those who voted said it was very important to them. 7% said not bothered, and 2% said they were completely against the idea because you should be moving forward rather than backwards. So, yeah, it was an interesting thing. So, obviously, with that, that's 91% of people would prefer to have backwards compatibility. It's either, very important or preferable.
I think it's something we all like to have. Whether we play a lot of the games or not, it's just something it's great to have, because sometimes you like to go and play those games,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always nice to look back. Sometimes I think it's important to look back to see where we've been, to see how far we've come, as it were, in games. So anyway, let's get on with the questions. So as always, we've got Mark kicking us off, and he's asking, with the launch of Microsoft Flight Simulator and approaching new consoles later in the year, do you think games could be too realistic?
Not where I think they need to be realistic for certain games, and obviously over the years that has been a continuation of progression, especially with Flight Simulator. If you look at the early versions of it to now, it's like it's amazing, isn't it? But I think you want it as, I think for that sort of thing, you want it as realistic as possible. I think so, for that sort of game.
But do you ever think that there's a time when it can be too realistic?
Well, for some things there may well be. I don't know. It depends, isn't it? Because it's the graphical cartoon, should we say, of the graphics that we play games in. That if it was real life, would it be boring?
I think for me, some of the games that I've played where they've had a more realistic mode have been negative to the experience. So, for example, Project Cars did not like it at all. Didn't like it. That's more of a driving simulator.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo, historically, never been as much fun as like Ridge Racer. And I think that the issue is where a game can... It depends upon what the game's trying to go for, because if it's a game like Gran Turismo or Project Cars, you're looking for realism. Whereas if it's a game that is going for fun, you don't want the realism. I mean, I remember playing Formula 1 Grand Prix on the PlayStation 1. And if you put that on realistic settings, God, that was punishing.
Yeah.
And, playing the game, it stopped it being fun in entirety. So I would say, depending upon what you want out of the game, there is a possibility that games can be too realistic. You would not want to play Ridge Racer with real world physics in terms of, crumple factors on cars and stuff like that, because you wouldn't get out of the first corner on a game like that, because the whole idea is, you're going as fast as you can, and it's, just that sort of like thrill of the ride, isn't it? Whereas you look at games like, Forza Horizon, that wouldn't work being ultra realistic. Forza does work being more realistic, but it's more of a blend of arcade and realism. But things like Project Cars, I've not seen a good version of Project Cars yet.
What about, if you compare that to Forza, as let's say Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
I think other than doing a proper, sim racing, for example, the graphics are not going to be realistic, are they? They're not going to be like photorealistic, but they are out there if you want to find that sort of game to play, especially in the arcades and that.
Yeah, if there was one game, I think it was, I can't remember what it was, but it was like a space shuttle flight simulator or something or other like that. It was some sort of thing like that, where if you got a hooky version of it and it detected that it was, a false version or, pirated version, the game would make you go through hours of pre-flight checks before you could actually launch, which made it really boring, and unplayable, basically. So, and obviously that would be more realistic, but that's done as a punishment to you as well. I can't remember what game it was, but I remember thinking, that's a clever way of doing it. But yeah, I think that there are times when games can be just a little bit, too much for their own good.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it, how that comes about?
It is. But again, it depends upon what audience that they're going for, because you're not going to attract the Forza fans to, the Forza Horizon fans to Project Cars.
Well, I mean, I know you take the mick out of me, but look at the train simulation and stuff like that.
Yeah, with your thermos.
Oh, yeah, look at that train. It's a room 7.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yes, I mean, also, there's other games where they are done with realistic physics, but they've got the balance right. And I'm thinking about the Kerbal Space Program, where you build rockets and, launch to a fictional moon, and the characters are sort of like cartoony, but the physics behind it and everything that you've got to work out, thrust and weight and all of that is much more, I think, supposed to be realistic. I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I would like to be, but I'm not. So, but there's stuff in there that is a lot more highbrow than your standard sort of game. So it's it's interesting, because it is a difficult balance because sometimes something that's realistic might be, as you say, very boring. Which is why on Train Simulator the travelling time is much reduced, because if you were doing the train from Swansea to Manchester, that's going to take you 4 hours, but you're not going to play the game for 4 hours. It'll probably take you 40 minutes on the game.
That's why I would do from Paddington to Reading, for example, which is about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Actually, I think it's less than that. With no stops, the 125, I think, could be half an hour, I think. But, But then look at what you're playing with. Well, you haven't played it yet, Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
If you're going to fly from Heathrow, shall we say, to Australia, it's a long flight.
It is, and you're not going to be able to do it, but in one go, unless you've got specific types of planes. But what is interesting is that this game has a seemingly infinite level of tweakability to make it go from like an arcade experience to a full-on, point where I saw somebody putting into, I don't know if it was our group or another group, saying, is anybody else finding it interesting that you're having to find, a manual to look at where the light switch is in a Cessna?
Well, it's like when you drive a train, there's a certain routine you have to do before the train will move. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes I forgot. If I go back to it now, I'll have to do a quick tutorial on how to drive the thing. Because there is a routine. There are buttons to press and things and levers to pull before you even actually get off the ground. On the rails. So it's funny actually. I think it's quite amusing, really.
Yeah. So I think we're saying that basically, that sometimes it depending upon what type of game it is, it can be too realistic, can't it?
Yeah, but it's there for a reason. In certain games, it will be likely to be realistic. Yeah, because you're not going to go on it, sit in a 125, and you're going to sit in that cabin and drive the train for real.
That's true.
Or you're not going to get into a little biplane and take off into wherever. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing is great to be realistic, because it's something you'll probably never ever do. I know you tell you wrong. You can go to Heathrow. I think it's a Heathrow, and they have a flight simulator there.
Yeah,
that they use for the pilots, and you can buy a gift ticket to use it, which would be quite good to do.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, in terms of our wedding anniversary last year, I actually bought my wife a flying lesson.
Or was that just to set a bun to get out the parachute and boot her out?
No. Properly seriously, because she happened to mention, she never mentioned this in her entire marriage, and she said, I'd quite like to fly a plane. So I thought, right, okay, it's our wedding anniversary. I'll get her a flying lesson. I mean, as it happens, it's near our next wedding anniversary. We haven't been able to do it because, COVID, we waited until the nice weather and COVID came in, so we've extended the time on the ticket.
Yeah.
For her to be able to do it. But
is it the same? I just imagine, because in Live and Let Die, when they're having the chase, and this woman waiting to have a flying lesson.
Yeah. Well, she turned around. Because back then I was having a go at her because she kept going. I mean, we've replaced the suspension on the front of our cars several times, shall we say? And it's because somebody who isn't me, and there's only her and me who drives a car, so I'll give you a clue who it is, tends to whack the pavement with them or mount the pavement, and not do it in a slow manner. So she said, well, at least I'm not going to, whack the curb if I'm not in a plane. I said, no, I'll be worried about people's roofs next. Watch the tiles.
Yeah.
To which she wasn't very happy at that comment, but there you go. Anyway, do you want to do Mark's next question?
So, what are you expecting to be the most noticeable advance to be from the current gen consoles to the next?
Loading times.
That's what loading times. I mean, back in the day when you got a Resident Evil game, you wait for that door to open on the loading time, and it'd be interesting to see. Obviously, you might see already in PC, but the time in Destiny where you're hovering over a planet, which is the loading time to put the game in.
Yeah. And
on the consoles, it can take considerably a bit of time to actually get there. Not sure what the time is if you.
Some of that though is also syncing you up with an available server where there's room on it for you to be able to enter it, because they only can have up to 16 people or 12 people in an area at once.
Yeah.
So some of that delays not only the loading, it's also the server issues at the back end.
But in a single player game though, that should be instant, shouldn't it?
No, because you're loading into an area where other players are.
No, I'm on about a single player game that's not.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were on about Destiny. Sorry. That should be better.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I saw a video this week. It was showing you the new dashboard on the Series X.
Yes, I think I posted. Did I post it in the Facebook group? I think I might have done.
Yeah, I saw it earlier in the week. It was basically saying there's not going to be much difference to the current Xboard dashboard, apart from it'll operate 50% faster and only takes up something like 40% of the memory.
But to be honest, there's been a lot of updates recently, so there's been a lot of changes on where to find and how to view things.
Yeah. I have to admit, the one thing I actually miss on the way that they've changed it is you can't look at the achievement list for games when you're looking at stuff in the store, because you used to be able to go to the club page which had the achievements in. It's just an achievement hunter, sometimes what I do. If I'm looking at buying a game, thinking, that looks sort of like achievable and that. And you can't do that. So what it's mean now is if I'm looking at buying a game, I've then got to get my iPad out and look it up there, which is a bit of a pain in the backside, to be honest. I mean, I think that's a bit of a retrograde step that they've done, especially considering they're supposed to be wanting you to do more with achievements as well.
Yeah, I'd have to talk through when I'm actually on the Xbox, but there is a lot of updates that have been going on, and the list on the left-hand side when you're in there is much more different. It's quicker to get somewhere now.
I like the look of it now, other than the fact of that one missing thing.
Well, that's your achievements again, isn't it? So I'm not going to go there on that.
I'm not the only achievement hunter, though.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure there's others. No. Well,
there are people who do it.
I was just amused actually for myself that, because I obviously just play Destiny sometimes, and I've got 250 achievements that come out of nowhere because I've been playing a brand new game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because this month I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, completed 5 games this month, but across PC, Xbox, and Vita.
Yeah.
So
Vita?
Yeah, Vita. Still play the Vita.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get rid of it and say hasta la Vita.
No, I did.
Indeed. But I think the other thing that's important in terms of the difference is going to be the ray trace graphics, because that's sort of like a different way of actually doing the light. It does make a difference in terms of how it looks. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting time to see what else these things will bring to us as well.
I'm sure there's things we don't know about yet. I mean, I know that they did discuss on that video about what they want to bring, how they want to bring it to us and how it should work. But I mean, until it's here in our hands, we don't really know.
No, exactly. Okay, so back to the Facebook questions then. And Jason Toon says, hypothetical question time. If you could take the reins of any franchise and reboot it regardless of cost or worry about reaching a wide demographic, what would you pick? And said he would pick or reboot Terminator franchise to make it a hard R-rated film series again.
I don't want to be obvious, really. That's the problem. Thinking about it, different franchise.
Why were you thinking Star Wars or Star Trek?
No, it would have been Star Trek. Would be an obvious one.
Yeah,
but thinking of something other franchise. Well, we get regular reboots of Batman, don't we? And all those sort of movies that are regularly done. There's the Green Lantern as well, stuff like that. And obviously, from the Marvel point of view, that's I suppose they're reboots in their own form, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. So actually, I'm looking on the screen. I wouldn't mind to see a reboot of Sucker Punch.
Okay.
Or actually something more to do with that, because I know it's not the best.
But that's only one movie, isn't it?
They never did a franchise with that.
Yeah.
You got any ideas while I'm thinking about it?
Yes, 007.
Well, that's rebooted every time they bring someone else aboard.
I know, sort of, but it is.
It is though, isn't it?
The only time it's been really rebooted has been with Daniel Craig, but I would, because I was very careful in saying 007, I did not say James Bond, because I think we are now at the position, because of all of the social justice rubbish and all of this, to get rid of this argument about, is James Bond going to be female? Is James Bond going to be black? Or is he going to be Chinese? Or is he going to be whatever? And just have it as reboot the franchise as 007, and it is whoever has that. And then you can...
Well, they did. They rebooted the franchise with Daniel Craig and Casino Royale. That was a reboot.
Well, it was a reset, because...
reset, reboot. Yeah, same sort of.
Yeah, I know, but it's still James Bond. It's still Bond. I'm saying is, don't have Bond, have a 007, but don't have Bond.
Yeah, but they obviously in the new movie, which will be coming out.
Yeah, there is a black female 007
because he's retired and he's not. So he's still James Bond, but someone else has got that 00 number.
Yeah, which is a black female woman, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
But I think that's the way that franchise should go. I think that let's make Daniel Craig the last James Bond, and let's have not James, but a different character. And then that character can last for 10 years, and then it can be replaced by the next one. And then you can have your men, your women, whatever you want there, and it doesn't matter.
Well, I like to keep it as it goes, and we'll see who comes next after this one. How about a new reboot in the franchise of Raiders of the Lost Ark then, and Indiana Jones? It's a thought.
I'm going to say no, because I think that the first three movies are classic.
Yeah. Now, the same way Bond has been done over the years, where you have a new person playing Bond, could you have a new person playing Indiana Jones in the same way?
Well, yeah, you can, because you just say they're Indiana Jones. Don't address any change.
I mean, again, these franchises are close to our hearts, and you don't like to see change with that. You like to say that's it, or it's like rebooting Back to the Future and not having Michael J. Fox in it.
Back to the Future is a perfect movie, and it should not be touched ever, and it should not be replicated. Not be copied. It is as it is. It's a moment in cinema history. I would say, if you want to do anything, why not have the Alien and Predator franchises?
So that's been rebooted so many times now.
Yeah, I know. It
hasn't worked.
Has it been rebooted, though, or has it just been added to?
The Predator has been rebooted in a few different forms. Obviously, the Alien vs. Predator series, that's something different as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And look at the Alien franchise, how they've been trying to sort of deal with that
But I don't think that they're reboots, though. I think that they're just
continuations.
Sort of continuations. I think all of those are continuations. I'm on about real fresh reboot.
So what about something? What about rebooting Jason Bourne then, or something like that, or Men in Black?
Well, Men in Black has sort of rebooted itself, hasn't it? In a way, because of the Men in Black International.
Yeah,
reimagined.
I mean, if they were going to reboot it and go back to the characters from the first film and redo it that way, but then again, I wouldn't like the idea of that because I think Will Smith nailed it.
Yeah.
And would you like to see Harry Potter rebooted? No, because they're probably ideal as they are.
I mean, Superman was rebooted, but they haven't done enough of it because you've only had Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman and Justice League, and only one of those is actually a Superman movie anyway.
And you got a new TV series, new Lewis and Clark TV series coming, haven't we?
Yeah, and I know it's coming, but what about rebooting X-Men completely?
Well, that was the idea, I think, of halfway through the series that they were going back in time when they were young. Wasn't that like rebooting them from an early age instead?
In a way, but again, to me, that feels more like less of a reboot and more of a filling in the backstory. Because
it's like Batman's rebooted, and we've seen his parents die so many times. We've seen him go to the place where they died and put a rose down. Spider-Man, we've seen the Spider-Man reboot. Again, we've seen the same beginning of that.
We've seen that 3 times now. Now, in terms of, I think you're giving some good examples of what I would consider to be a reboot. So that would be Batman, because you've had, to me, the Michael Keaton Batmans, the Val Kilmer Batman, and the dreadful George Clooney Batman, those 4 movies, that is not a reboot. That's a continuation.
It is.
Because
Dark Knight was a reboot, in a way.
Yeah, but that's what I was coming to. I was saying the Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan stuff, all of that was a complete reboot because it had nothing at all to do with what went before. X-Men wasn't a reboot. It was a prequel because McAvoy turned into Patrick Stewart. If you see what I mean, it was all part of the same timeline. It was related, but I just say just wipe all of that out and then just get a brand new.
I mean, look at the Fast. What about the Fast and the Furious? Look how that's gone. Transformers.
Yeah, but they're all continuations of the same story.
You can't reboot these because it would be boring.
Yeah, but you could say reboot. Well, you couldn't reboot Superman now, but before Man of Steel, you could have rebooted.
I mean, you couldn't reboot Jurassic Park. You've got different iterations of Jurassic Park now with the World franchise.
Yeah.
Parts of the Caribbean, whether or not they're rebooting that, I think they were trying. Disney were going to think about doing it.
I don't think there's any point in rebooting that. Planet of the Apes was a reboot.
Yeah, but not as good
that was a proper reboot. That wasn't a continuation, but. I think it's important where it is. The real distinction is the reboot. Like It, they had the original movie of It, and then you had the reboot version of it, even though it was basically the same. Or The Omen, which was a blow-by-blow account.
It was actually, here's the script from The Omen from 1970s.
Yeah, we'll just reshoot it.
Yeah.
And that was a reboot, but it wasn't a good reboot. It wasn't a good example.
Now, Rocky had different, from that point of view, Rocky, which has been a continuation for the movies, Creed came in for a slightly twist on it.
Yeah, but that was a continuation again. You know, and this is what's important, is the difference between a reboot and then these continuations or whatever, which are more refreshes. You know, like Bond, I would say, is a refresh. And where they've said that they've actually rebooted Bond, they haven't. What they've got is gone back to his beginning of his career. And they've changed aspects of it, but it's all supposed to be the same Bond. I know that the way that we mentally separate it is a reboot every time, but it's always supposed to be the same.
I think because where you had, for example, Emergency Secret Service, and from that point of view in that series, maybe that showed us why and the way he was because of the loss of his wife on their wedding day.
Yeah.
But seeing how he's not a double O and they gave him the first chance when it became to be Casino Royale. That was like a reboot-ish in a way. Because you're going back to the beginning, as you said.
Yeah, where it doesn't work as a reboot to me is the fact that you look at Her Majesty's Secret Service, you look at like The Man with the Golden Gun, and you look at Thunderball or whatever. M is the same person, and then you look at right through all of those, right up to Pierce Brosnan. But then again, we got age here on our side here, where Desmond Llewellyn passed away, Bernard Lee passed away, who played M. Yeah.
Then at one point they brought in someone else as a part of that department, but it wasn't actually M.
Yeah, the minister. Yeah.
And then obviously when they rebooted it, shall we say, with Casino Royale. Well, actually no, because
Dame Judi Dench was the carryover from Pierce Brosnan, though.
Yeah, that's right. See, I'll just
so
yeah.
But the causality, it goes back. So that then, what that then does is it puts Pierce Brosnan's character somewhere in the Skyfall sort of storyline. You know, between Casino Royale and Skyfall, everything with Dame Judi Dench happened in the Pierce Brosnan line as well. So, you know, to me, in terms of causality, you know, for the Bond to make sense, which then is the link over to, you know, but where it really becomes complicated is with Q, because then his assistant was actually it was actually there before he was, which doesn't make sense.
Because John Cleese was around.
Yeah, because
that was passing the baton.
That was just stupid anyway.
But what I mean is they were passing the baton to have someone else take his job, should we say, because he's retiring. That's all that was.
And obviously you have all of the things with the you know, Prime Minister at the time, and that where they've made it fit into a part of time with Margaret Thatcher there.
And the Queen, and the Queen's been there the whole time, to be honest.
The Queen's been there the whole time, so that's a consistency.
Yeah.
But to me, I think properly refresh the Bond franchise, relaunch it, but it's not Bond, it's 007. And then it doesn't, you know, you can start off again, redo Casino Royale and all of those movies, but you could change who is 00 at any point, and it doesn't matter. But it does matter if it's James Bond, to me.
Yeah.
For consistency.
But if you've got OCD, it's a different world, but we're not going to go into it on that. Anyway.
Yeah. Or CDO, as Alan always says.
Yeah. So, moving on, because we could be talking about that all night long.
That was a good chat, though.
Yeah. So Justin Lee says, how do you think the bun fight between Apple and Epic will end? While I couldn't give a slightest stuff about Fortnite, it could have a big impact on the developers on iOS who use the Unreal Engine. Epic are crying about how they are hard done to, but the sign of the times is standard terms of service and have been broken these terms, but orchestrating the ban because they want more money. Well, this is Apple being Apple, the same way that Apple will not have the Xbox app for doing what Android can do. Do you know what I mean? Apple they're a law to themselves, and I can't stand them, to be honest.
Because Apple can, and other than the fact that
they're too big for their boots, I think.
Other than the fact that I much prefer the iPhone and iPad, I wouldn't have anything else Apple. But in terms of this, it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out, because if Apple lose too many things, that might have an impact on their sales of phones. And let's face it, if you're going to buy your kid who plays Fortnite every day, if you're going to buy them a phone for Christmas, and, you know, can little Johnny play Fortnite on the Apple iPhone 11 or 12? No, he can't, because it was taken off the App Store. All right, can he do it on a Samsung Galaxy A90? Yes, he can. And he can connect his controller to it, and he can do all that. Oh, and also, you can also have Xbox Game Pass if you've got a controller that you can connect to it as well. What's a parent going to go to?
Exactly.
Mind you, what's a gamer going to go to generally? It's only because I really, really loathe and detest Android that I'm not on an Android phone.
Well, it depends what you're used to and how you. I think Android's brilliant. I think it works well.
I started on Android and then I went over to Apple and I would never go back unless I was
No,
made to.
but I don't like Apple. I don't like their attitude. I don't like the way they operate anymore. They don't. They won't give you the opportunity to have your own memory card in there. They're just
Never been an issue for me. What
I mean is there's always options that you can have, and people like to have diversity in what they use. So if you want to stick another memory card in there for what you want it for, why not? They just close protocol and they're arseholes, honestly. Sorry. But anyway, that's mine.
I agree. I think it is a really stupid thing that you can't have a memory card in. It's a really ridiculous decision by Apple.
And I'm glad I'm not. I do have an Apple account because I've got stuff that I used to purchase when I was an Apple. But once I went back, I didn't look back to, but it doesn't bother me at all.
What do you use to manage your music on your PC, or don't you?
I don't really, because a lot of my digital music at the moment, I don't play it on the PC.
Right.
Because I've got Amazon Prime at the moment, so...
Fair enough.
But then if I wanted to, if I wanted to put a memory card in and just transfer a stack of albums onto my memory card, for example, and then on my phone, like I did today, actually, I did connect my phone to my Denon amp, and I did play some music off of there separately. Don't get me wrong, I've got CDs and vinyl, but sometimes there's something I might not have. Like today, I listened to the Hans Zimmer track from Wonder Woman 1984. So I then, went onto Amazon, logged into my account, downloaded that, and played it through my system off my phone.
Yeah.
Blasted that out. It's great.
But you can do that with Amazon, with what you call it, music as well. iTunes.
Yeah. Or Spotify, whatever. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm just saying that's my platform of choice at the moment.
But the only thing that I do, which costs me £20 a year, is I have Music Match on Apple. So I basically, for every CD I have ripped onto my computer. So that I can use it on my phone, or just not to have to get the disc out. Because
I mean, I've been meaning to do it for some time. I've been meaning to get a longer lead. There is a lead I need to do, and I can actually hook up my PC to my amp anyway.
Yeah.
And then I could just click on my music folder, which is as huge as it is.
Yeah, but what Music Match does is when you've got your account synced up, so you say, this is my primary computer, all of the music on here, I want to share across all of my devices. So, and if you have Music Match, your computer doesn't have to be on, and what it does is it takes it out of the iTunes library and streams it to you.
Yeah, but I could do
and you
that.
can download it.
But then I could put my music library on Plex.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, because you could do it on there. Remember?
Yeah, but don't you have to stream it from your machine?
Well, yeah, as long as your PC's on.
Yeah, but this is that's what I mean. I don't have to have my PC on.
Yeah. You see, unfortunately, I've just gone to my music library and my folder, and I've got here 75,431 files, 4,943 folders. So actually, that's the album. So I've got 4,943 albums digitally sitting on my PC. That's a lot of music. There's no way I can put that somewhere. That's 275 gig. That's a lot of music.
Well, I've got 571 artists folders because all of mine's sorted by artist.
No, I don't think I've done. Actually, just I've got a compilation folder. I've got a soundtrack folder and the music folder. But then again, that's all with Windows being Windows. The first album is going to be plus 44, and then 2-pack, and it doesn't go on. It doesn't start with A until after I've gone past 50 Cent and 70 Soul Sessions or whatever. And then it kicks in with AC/DC and everything else I've got on here,
Yeah, I mean, I would say I've probably got about 800 albums.
Yeah.
Or over 100 gigs worth of music in my collection, and that's not obviously including my record collection, as yours wouldn't be either. But
not my CDs either.
All of
this
that
is just digital music I've got picked up over the years.
Yeah, but all of this is, obviously the music I've bought off the iTunes store or another store and just imported into iTunes.
Yeah,
or stuff that I've had on CD.
Yeah. I've ripped some of the stuff with iTunes back in the day, and then I've got some stuff on Google Music, which is going to change because that's leaving leaving the world, isn't it? So
Is it?
yeah, it is. I had an email about that. So yeah, actually, it's to do more with the app that I use it's not with Google, actually. I think it's with the other platform I've got. But yeah, one of them's leaving. So
because I'm waiting to see Google Video go, which I hope it doesn't, because I've got, all of my old ultraviolet collection in there as well, which is over 100 movies.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if that didn't go, and that'd really hack me off if they got rid of that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Not that it's an issue, because I still have all of the discs. Because I'm not one of those people who would rip something and then get rid of the disc. I know that some people do that.
Some people might just put them in the loft or something, just out of the way or something. But
yeah, I just stick them in the cupboard.
To be honest, you can't beat putting the disc in and watching it off the the Blu-ray or whatever. To be honest.
No, definitely. But with the CD, you can, because obviously it's so much more controllable. But it's like, for example, I've done a Bond playlist of all of the sort of like main tunes of Bond. So this morning, I just connect it, or I just loaded up my amp app and then started playing, my playlist while I was sorting stuff out. Over Blu-ray, Bluetooth, and it plays it absolutely fine, and the quality is really good. Just like you did listen to whatever it was that you were listening to this morning. Yeah,
because I just wanted to listen to that track from Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but that is from from iTunes, or rather the iTunes Music Match.
Yeah.
So I don't. Fortunately, because of that, I just don't have to have all of my music on my phone. I can stream it or download it. And my computer doesn't have to be on, which is why I like it. So,
Yeah, I mean, if I did put this lot in the cloud, and then if I put this all in the cloud, then yeah, you would be able to stream it in all different shapes and forms, couldn't you?
Yeah. Actually, I've got my I've got 21,283 music files.
And that'd be individual songs.
Yeah. Across 13,833 folders. Which is a lot of music.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
But it depends upon also what bit rate that you actually sample them at as well. Or that you have them on. Yeah,
I mean, if I went for properties on one of just say a track here, for example, I don't think does it give the, well, that's like that one track's like 4.25 megabits, so it's quite a large size track. That's an MP3 audio file, that is, but standard.
Yeah, I would say probably about 4 or 5 megabytes for a song is about standard. So anyway, do you want to do? Oh no, that is just.
Did you say
no? That was the last question. Okay. It was about that. So because we went off on a bit of a diversion, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Epic thing, because I think if Epic end up winning, then that will open up the way for Microsoft to go back to Apple and say we want xCloud on the iPhone.
Yeah.
And if they don't, I think it'll mean that ultimately they'll be shooting themselves in the foot.
True.
Anyway, so that's it for this week. I'm not sure what's going to happen next week because you're away working.
No, well, next Sunday I'm going to be on call, so I will be getting something. It just unfortunately won't help with recording the show.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what we have to do then.
So we could probably do something at some point, if it's just after or something, one evening.
Yeah, not a problem.
Look, iTunes has now bloody started. See? I'm just because I clicked on Skyfall. Sorry, and it's oh god. If I'm listening to Jack, you can't hear this, can you?
No,
that's all right. I've got breadcrumbs in the background from Skyfall.
Fair enough.
Anyway, while that's going on in the background, should I do
your outro?
Okay, so gamer tag at Steve07. Should I say Twitter at Steve07. Xbox is Steve07. This is really much that the PC's gone nuts now, and it's really irritating. I can't turn it down, or can I? No, everything's gone mental. Anyway, so yeah, whatever. You carry on, mate, because I'm just lost now. This one going on in the background.
Okay, so YouTube, PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, it's all HERJ UK for me. Also, if you want me to catch me on Twitter, HERJ UK, and then on Epic, it's Pop Culture Gamers. Don't forget, we also have our Twitter account for the show, which is Pop Culture Gamer. We have a Facebook group. We also have a Facebook page. Just look for Pop Culture Gamers there. If you want to email anything, and if you want anything forwarded on to Alan as well, just email me at podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. And don't forget our website, popculturegamers.podbean.com as well. And we also have a Patreon if you want help out on the show as well. So that's it. Other than that, I think we'll just end by saying it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him.
Good night.
Good night, bloody iTunes.